For most people, summer holidays still mean the seaside. The Lincolnshire coast has long been a magnet for the Midlander anxious to escape from the city. Much of the sandy coastline has, understandably, been developed for holiday making. In recent years, caravans have spread. There are more than 16,000 of them along the Lincolnshire coast. There is plenty of entertainment for those who enjoy being in a crowd.
But happily, there are other places where solitude and natural beauty still persist. Thanks to the foresight of Lindsey County Council, the two finest stretches of the Lincolnshire coastline have remained undeveloped. Now they are nature reserves, open to all who wish to study or simply to enjoy nature and unspoiled seashores. This is Saltfleetby, Thedlethorpe, which the Trust manages jointly with the Nature Conservancy. There are very old sand dunes here and a freshwater marsh rich in plants and animals. In the pools, the common toads go about their mating. Later, the marsh orchids produce their splendid spikes of flowers. The yellow flags add a touch of brighter colour. The most fascinating creature of this reserve, now its only Lincolnshire locality, is the rare natterjack toad. It was from the West Fen of Lincolnshire that Sir Joseph Banks first described the natterjack, its local name, as a British species. These handsome toads make their burrows in the dunes, where they spend the day, emerging at dusk to feed. Its short limbs enable the natterjack to run, unlike the common toad. Only remnants of Lincolnshire's once extensive heathlands now remain. Fortunately, some of the best of these, at Scotton Common, at Linwood Warren, and in the Isle of Axholme, have been acquired by the Trust. This is Linwood, a mosaic of woodland and of open heath. Here and at Scotton are many plants and animals now rare in the county. The bog asphodel and the strange insect-catching sundew. An adder glides away at your approach. A mining bee leaves its telltale heaps of spoil on the pathways. To manage our reserves effectively, we need to know much more about them. At Linwood, our local management group of members are studying the red squirrel, found here in one of its last Lincolnshire strongholds. These are the remains of pine cones from which squirrels have extracted the seeds. Here too, we have begun a grazing experiment to prevent an old heathy pasture with a rich flora from becoming dominated by coarse grass and rushes. These red admirals are on devil's bit scabious, one of the plants we want to encourage. The rare bird presents a special problem in protection. When a pair of Montagu's harriers decided to nest in the middle of a marshland hayfield, the Trust had to ask the farmer to leave an area around the nest uncut. He was immediately cooperative, proud in fact of his rare guests. The police were equally and just as discreetly helpful. The birds, sensing perhaps that they were safe, took little notice of the harvesting operations going on around them. And the result of all this collaboration, 2 young Montagues, 2 of few reared in Britain that year, to delight us with their easy mastery of flight. The Gibraltar Point Skegness Reserve has a splendid field station provided by the County Council and run by the Trust. Many school, college and university parties come here for field studies, on residential courses or on day visits. This drinker moth caterpillar provides these girls with a fascinating study in locomotion. This magnificent reserve, one of the finest in Britain, contains some 1,200 acres of sandy beaches and mudflats, sand dunes and salt marshes. Part of it is owned by Skegness Urban District Council, most of it by Lindsey County Council. It is managed by the Trust, which shares with the County Council the costs of the full-time warden. At this reserve, which is open to the public, the Trust tries to help people understand and appreciate nature and landscape. At our information centre on the main car park, the visitor can see exhibits illustrating the natural features of the reserve. The seashore, for example. Here too, he can obtain a guide to the nature trail. Let us follow this trail. The salt marsh is intersected by a network of creeks. A kestrel hovers overhead in search of field mice. It is high summer, and the sea lavender has spread a purple carpet over the saltings. This young cuckoo may have been reared by meadow pipits which nest on the marsh. The trail takes us over dune ridges and through hollows filled with sea buckthorn. A track of sleepers has been built to prevent erosion of the dunes by trampling and to provide easy access to the seashore. And there, across the wash, are the chalk hills of Norfolk. As more people come to enjoy this reserve, and there were more than 150,000 in 1966, there is a danger that they will inadvertently damage or destroy some of its interest and beauty. Take the shorebirds, little terns, and these ringed plovers. Their eggs and chicks are camouflaged against natural predators, but this means that people don't see them. To protect the birds and their nests, we have asked visitors to avoid the nesting areas. The response has been encouraging.